I really don't care what happens to her at all. I don't care. Like everybody they tiptoe around with this social media, but what y'all don't get is that it be real consequence for y'all little flexes, y'all quick flexes for $300 that you need. It be consequence.
It was one of those moments that sneaks up on you when you least expect it. The kind that makes you freeze, makes you replay it in your mind over and over, asking yourself, did that really just happen? What was supposed to be a joyful, celebratory occasion turned into something far more complicated, something raw and deeply emotional. Teyana Taylor's pregnancy reveal was meant to be a beautiful surprise for her fans and a touching family moment, but instead, it became a live event that left thousands of people in shock. And it wasn't simply the pregnancy itself that made jaws drop. The real weight of the night came from Iman Shumpert's reaction. The kind of reaction you can't rehearse, can't fake, and can't take back once the world sees it. For so long, fans had admired Teyana and Iman. They were that couple who seemed to have it all together, the kind of pair who radiated love, energy, and authenticity. On social media, they were playful, supportive, and full of life. Whether hyping each other up in interviews, sharing snippets of family life, or showing up for big moments, they always gave the impression of being unshakable. But as everyone knows, no relationship is perfect, especially when you live so much of it in front of cameras. What people see on Instagram and television isn't always the full picture. Behind the scenes, like any couple, Teyana and Iman had their struggles, their private battles, the kind of challenges that can never be captured in a perfectly edited post. And on this particular night, during a casual Instagram live, those private realities spilled out for everyone to see. The setup seemed harmless. It was just another fun stream, the kind of relaxed live session Teyana often did with her fans. She laughed, answered questions, cracked jokes, and gave people a glimpse into her natural, carefree vibe. And then, almost out of nowhere, she dropped the news. With a casual tone, like she was finally letting go of a secret she had carried close to her chest, she revealed she was pregnant again. For longtime followers, the idea wasn't exactly out of nowhere. Teyana had hinted in the past about wanting more children, speaking openly about how much she loved being a mom and how beautiful her bond was with her daughter, Junie. Fans had speculated before, but no one had confirmation. That night, in the middle of an otherwise light-hearted chat, she finally confirmed what many had hoped to hear. But it wasn't just the announcement that shook people. It was what happened seconds later. The camera shifted, catching Iman sitting quietly in the background. Normally, he's seen as composed, cool, and full of confidence. But this time, something was different. His face wasn't calm, it was heavy with emotion. For a moment, you could almost see him wrestling with himself, trying to hold it together, trying not to break. But he couldn't. His eyes filled with tears, his expression crumbled, and the floodgates opened. This wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't staged. It was a man, blindsided by a life-changing moment, showing emotions he probably didn't even fully understand himself. The tears didn't feel like they were just about the pregnancy. Yes, becoming a father again is overwhelming on its own, but what poured out of him that night carried a different weight. It was as if years of pressure, expectations, and unspoken struggles were all colliding in real time. And because it was live, because thousands of people were watching, there was no way to hide it. He didn't mask it with jokes or brush it off with bravado. He broke down, and it was raw enough to shake the people watching from behind their screens. The comments section exploded instantly. Fans flooded the chat with questions and theories, some celebrating, some expressing concern, and many left wondering what was really going on. Why was Iman reacting this way? Was he happy? Was this a good surprise? Or had the news triggered something much deeper that had been lingering beneath the surface? That uncertainty made the moment feel even heavier. Teyana herself seemed caught off guard. She tried to comfort him, her instinct to soften the blow and reassure him kicking in. But the disconnect between their energy was impossible to ignore. What was supposed to be a joyful reveal had suddenly become something complicated, layered, and painfully human. For viewers, it was as though they had been invited into the most intimate corner of someone's relationship, a space not usually seen. And in that space, they saw not just the joy of an expanding family but the emotional toll of carrying such a responsibility while living under constant public scrutiny. Teyana, ever composed even in chaos, handled the situation with grace. She didn't hide her own emotions, but she stayed steady, offering him support while still holding on to the joy of her announcement. Iman, on the other hand, was visibly drowning in the weight of it all. As the live continued, speculation grew louder. Some believed his tears were purely about shock, that he hadn't been ready for the timing of the reveal, or maybe even the pregnancy itself. Others wondered if he had been carrying private struggles that the public knew nothing about and that this moment cracked him open. To many fans, his vulnerability was refreshing, even admirable, because it showed that men too can break, can cry, can feel overwhelmed without shame. But to others, it sparked concern about whether this meant something deeper for the couple. When the stream finally ended, the moment lingered. It didn't just fade away like most Instagram lives do. Instead, it became a point of conversation across platforms. People replayed the clip, dissected his reactions, speculated about their relationship, and debated what it all meant. The next day, Teyana took to her stories to thank fans for the love and support. She acknowledged the emotional whirlwind of the reveal, admitted it had been overwhelming for both of them, and expressed gratitude for people's understanding. She didn't shy away from the reality that her husband's reaction had shifted the entire mood of the announcement. She didn't try to cover it up or pretend it hadn't happened. Instead, she leaned into honesty, admitting that while the news was beautiful, the emotions surrounding it were complicated. Iman also eventually spoke out, posting reflections of his own. His words explained what his tears couldn't fully convey in the moment. He admitted that his breakdown wasn't just about the pregnancy but a culmination of emotions he hadn't even realized he was holding onto until then. For him, fatherhood wasn't just a role, it was everything. The pride, the responsibility, the weight of protecting and providing, it all sat heavily on his shoulders, and the thought of stepping into that role again under the watchful eyes of the world cracked him open. He didn't apologize for crying. He didn't mask his vulnerability. Instead, he explained that it was real, that sometimes even the strongest men reach breaking points. The responses to his post were overwhelming. Fans filled his comments with support, admiration, and love, praising him for being brave enough to show such raw emotion in a culture that often demands men stay stoic. Others offered prayers and encouragement, reminding him that being vulnerable doesn't make him weak. It makes him human. And through all of this, what became clear was that Teyana and Iman's relationship, while not perfect, was built on realness. That moment wasn't polished or curated. It wasn't for show. It was life happening in its messiest, most unpredictable form. As days passed, conversations about the reveal shifted from gossip to reflection. People began asking bigger questions. Was Iman's breakdown simply about the pregnancy, or was it symbolic of something larger? The pressure of fame, the exhaustion of always being on, the hidden struggles no one sees behind Instagram highlights? Was it about fear, about stepping back into fatherhood when life already felt so demanding? Or was it just the pure, overwhelming rush of emotions that come when life changes in an instant? No one truly knew except for them. And yet, the beauty of the moment was in that very mystery. What started as a pregnancy reveal turned into something much more. A reminder of how human even celebrities are, how unpredictable live moments can be, and how vulnerability is not weakness but truth. Teyana had wanted to celebrate new life, and though the moment unfolded differently than she had imagined, it revealed something powerful about their bond. She stood beside him even in his breakdown, steady in her support. He let his walls crumble in front of the world, showing the weight of love, responsibility, and emotion in a way few men ever allow themselves to. In the end, the reveal became less about the pregnancy itself and more about what it symbolized. The messy, complicated, beautiful reality of family, love, and life in the public eye. Fans saw not just two celebrities but two people navigating the hardest and most rewarding parts of their journey together. And while questions remain, one thing is undeniable. The rawness of that night made them more real, more relatable, and more human than ever before.